Have you ever set a goal and you're so optimistic about that goal? Like, let's say, you really want to lose weight, or you really want to see some gains in your glutes, you want to get toned, or you just want to clean up your diet so you have more energy in your body, you can feel good in your body. And, you know, when you try to go through those goals, no matter how hard you try, you find yourself going back into those old habits. Well, I have something to tell you. It's not because you're weak. Let's start there. Because a lot of times we like to assume that the reason we can't follow through these new habits we're trying to build is because we're weak. And that's not the entire story. It is because your nervous system is in survival mode. And when your nervous system is in survival mode, it will keep driving you back to those old habits, even when those habits are not sustainable long term, even if it's not the healthiest version of what you want it to be. And so basically, a lot of times we like to use like pure discipline and willpower to like push through, and that can work. Sometimes it works for people for like a few weeks, months, even like a few years. But something, life happens, and then you find yourself when you get triggered, you find yourself literally moving back to the old habits. And that's because if your nervous system associates those old habits, like let's say if your nervous system finds comfort in eating junk food, when you are triggered, it will bring back those cravings, bring back all those old habits for you to go back to for you to help you create some form of safety in your body. But we know long term those forms of safety and comfort, it is not healthy for our bodies. And so because we cannot outrun our nervous system, out discipline our nervous system, like I said, when it feels unsafe, it is going to pull you right back to those old habits, even if those old habits consist of binge eating, binge drinking, being a couch potato. And at first it didn't really click for me like that until, I would say, like last night. I had a very like gory dream. And for me, like, I get it, when they talk about your nervous system when it's in flight, like when it's in fight or flight mode, and it literally feels like it's going to die. And that's it. Like, how some people can say stuff but it doesn't really click. And last night I had this very gory dream. Just to summarize it, it was a dream about so in the dream there was this guy. I was in my old neighborhood where I grew up as a kid, and there was this guy who had him and all of his friends around. As I was going to go shopping, grocery shopping, one of the guys had asked me out, and I playfully said no. I meant no, but to like de-escalate the situation, I playfully said no. And then out of nowhere, the guy became really, really abusive verbally, and almost trying to like hit me. And I'm trying to escape the situation, and I'm here looking at all the other guys around me. I'm like, a guy's about to abuse me, and you guys are just sitting there. And then so I start running, and randomly one of my friends guy friends appear, and I'm running with them. And then somehow the guy who did not take the rejection well, he's following me as well. And before I know it, he pulls out a gun and, you know, is really chasing me down. It's like a deep chase, and now the police is involved, everything, like, and now my brother too, he's trying to protect me, and this guy is dead on set on like trying to kill me. And then somehow I finally do escape and I wake up. But and usually, and when I wake up, for some reason the first thing that comes to my head is this dream is trying to tell me that I have a deep rooted fear in saying no and creating boundaries. And right now I'm going through a process of just learning to rewire my nervous system with habits that I want to instill. And every time I go through this journey of wanting to build and form new habits, my dreams always kind of like tell me where I'm at. Like sometimes my subconscious mind will try to reflect some of the deep-seated, rooted fear that is in me. And so for me, even going through that dream, normally when I have scary dreams like this, and this always happens every time I get on a journey like this, I have a gory dream and I wake up, and sometimes I've even cried, screamed, not as often, but usually I wake up with my heart beating and I'm terrified to go back to sleep. But this time I woke up and I wasn't as scared. I knew immediately that it was just a dream, and in my head I was like, why didn't I notice I was dreaming? Because a lot of times too, I do notice I'm dreaming, and I'll fight to get out of that dream only to find myself in another dream. And then finally wake up just trying to escape it. It's like, but with this one, I didn't notice I was dreaming, and when I woke up, I was actually pretty calm. I was able to immediately go into interpretation mode. And usually when I am scared, when I get a scary dream like that, I don't go back to sleep because I'm scared. But I was like, shh, it's only 2:30. I'm going back to bed. And I'm at home alone. I didn't even bother to turn on the lights like I normally would. And this morning when I really reflected, and I went back to sleep, I just, and this morning when I woke back up to like really reflect on what the dream was trying to tell me, it really dawned on me how, like, why logically it never made sense to me why I was always so scared of saying no, or to disappoint people, or to even create boundaries. It always felt like I was almost kind of like rejecting them. But logically I know that, like, a lot of times I've learned that saying no is one of the most loving things I can do for myself and the other person. But literally when those opportunities will come up, I will literally feel it in my body. Like it's so heavy. I'm like terrified, and I'm like, why am I scared to say no to a stranger that I barely know? Like, it never made sense. And now having this dream, because a lot of things that is submerged in our subconscious, how our nervous system reacts, they're deep rooted inside us. So is not present in our conscious mind. So that's why when I was even thinking about it, to connect it with this, it was like, oh, so this is why certain habits are so hard to change, because logically we can't see where the problem, the root is coming from, and how to like change that. On the surface it looks simple, but there's deeper. Like, for my subconscious to create a whole drama series on just me telling a guy no, I'm like, oh, I felt like it painted a picture for me for what it is going on in my body, in my subconscious, when I do want to create these boundaries. And that's why it's so hard for me. And when and so it really made me think, like, with a lot of habits where, let's say if your body thinks it's about to die, like, first of all, our nervous system is so dramatic. or subconscious mind, you know, so dramatic. But it literally feels like it's going to die. And that's why when you're triggered, it thinks that you're being attacked. Like, I was literally getting attacked. Like, I gave you guys the summary, but like, I was running for my life. Every obstacles that I was over, no. I was like, ain't no way this is happening over, no. But now I see, now it painted a picture of me when they say it feels like you're running away from a lion. That is what's going on. And so now it's really making me like really believe in this whole nervous system rewiring, because it's like, if you can tell your body when it's triggered that it is safe, you know, there's strategies to do that, and that, you know, it does not have to reach for that junk food or that drink to feel safe, that, you know, you can easily go for, you know, you can choose, you can now retrain it to choose healthier options of like things to eat when you are, let's say, if you are triggered, or even just ways to regulate yourself so that, you know, on your quest of trying to lose weight, build that dream body. When these old habits start coming up, or cravings, you know how to regulate yourself so that it is not like literally pulling the strings, because we think we're in control. No, we're not in control. Our nervous system is in control here. That's the real boss. And you have to learn to work with your nervous system so that you can build long-lasting habits. It's not so, you know, it's not that we don't know better. It's that our nervous system sees change as danger, sees it as you're trying to escape a lion or whatever, or a man that, you know, you said no to. So I'm not, but because your nervous system sees change as danger, it is always going to drag you back down to old cycles. Is why someone like me I have had, you know, moments in my life where I will read all the personal development books, pay for coaching programs to change certain things, and still not move. I'll literally be in freeze mode. Or, you know, you can watch all the workout videos, you can learn and study about all the dangers of certain foods, and still find yourself going back, because our logical mind is not the one here that's the boss. It's not the one pulling the strings. It's your nervous system. It's like, I know better, so why can't I do better? So to create habits that independent of life outside of us, you know, because life happens and you can easily get triggered. And, you know, if you can rewire your nervous system to want to go back, to go now, to rely now on healthier ways to soothe, because everything you do a lot of times is just to soothe. When you're triggered, you go watch, you know, TV all day. When you go through a breakup, you eat a lot. Whatever you need to do to feel better, that's just your nervous system seeking to soothe. But now, can we go outside? Can we go work out? Can we crave healthy foods, smoothies, crave healthy company, you know, to help regulate us when, you know, the external world is triggering us, is making us not feel safe within our bodies. Once you learn to rewire your nervous system to crave nourishing food, you know, find comfort in moving your body, you know, being healthy stops being a fight. It now becomes who you are. And that's why I would like for you guys to join me on this last 3 months. It's October 1st. So these last 3 months of the year, I want y'all to lock in with me. The great lock in. I'm joining that movement. I actually really love that name. And so these last 3 months of the year, I really, is it? Yeah, October, November, December. I had to make sure. But yeah, like these last 3 months of the year, my personal goals are to, let's see, my main thing is I want to see visible abs consistently. So, and the things that I've noticed that are keeping me from that is like more sugar intake than I would like, alcohol, and coffee. And so, you know, for me, this is not just going to be about, you know, meal prepping and working out. This is also going to be a huge part on rewiring my nervous system so that these habits stick forever and not just these 3 months where I'm using sheer willpower. And so, you know, with this journey, it's not just about me. Like, what are your goals? Is it losing weight, getting tone, building a mountain yash? Or, you know, is it just to feel good in your body, feel at home in your body? Because naturally we live in a very rushed society, and so that keeps us dysregulated. And when you're dysregulated, you don't feel at home in your body. You're triggered and you find different unhealthy ways to soothe. And so, you know, my goal is to, instead of living by automation, because we all have things that we naturally do when we are dysregulated, we're triggered. We, you know, is why a lot of us, we can't keep our phone down. When you want to eat, everywhere you go, like your phone, like that's just you constantly finding ways to soothe your dysregulated nervous system. And so if that's just like another habit, or even like eating while watching TV, you know, noticing those ways that you automatically regulate, and now you get to design how you want to auto regulate, because the way you've been doing things is obviously not working for me. And if you're watching this, I'm assuming it's also not working for you. So set these, it doesn't have to, don't do too much at once, just pick one goal at a time. And that's what I'm doing. There's different areas in my life I want to work on, but these last 3 months, this is like my top one, where I just really want to, you know, clean up my diet, and because I know the ripple effects it's gonna have on my energy, on how my body looks aesthetically, how I feel in my body, and just to be able to say like, I designed this, like I get to, you know, choose and not move out of compulsion. A lot of things we do is through compulsion. We don't even notice we're doing it. But no, I want to start being the one that is in control and not my nervous system. And when I catch her firing up, you know, we're gonna talk about different ways to regulate as these triggers and cravings come up. So let me know, like, what are some of your goals that you want to work, your body goals, if that's what you're working on. So whatever it is, I'm inviting you to lock in with me. And, you know, I just want you to know that this is not a journey about perfection. This is a journey of self-mastery. This is a journey of, you know, really, like I said before, really taking control of your life. the average person lets life control them. But, you know, with these 90 days, I want you to really lock in, become really self-aware about, you know, some of the habits and choices that you're doing. And when you're able to even just become aware in the moment, that's already a step forward, because a lot of these things are embedded deep and that we don't even know, like I was telling you with the dream. So like when you start to pay attention to those cues, they start to teach you what is in there, and you get to explore it so you can release it. So for me, like, now that I know that, like, this is how my nervous system feels when I'm saying no, you know, I can now start working towards that. Before, logically, it didn't make sense. Like, I would just stuff it down. I would just try to manage it the best way I could, or just be quiet, just not say anything, avoid conflict. And that's my number one thing. I avoid conflict at all costs. But that's also not healthy. Like, sometimes that's the best thing to do, but sometimes things do need to be addressed. Things need to be released. And so that's the power of like nervous system work. You start to really, really hone in on these little cues and lock in on, you know, let your triggers teach you more about you, and let it help you design and build your dream body, where it doesn't just look good, but also you know how to take care of it. And you're not scared that one day you're gonna fall back into old habits, because you know exactly what to do when that time comes. You know how to regulate. You feel calm. You feel, you know, even things like body dysmorphia are no longer like a problem, which, you know, sometimes that's part of a dysregulated nervous system when you start having body dysmorphia, where you lose the weight, but you can't really see the progress in, you know, but yeah. So if you are ready to build the body of your dream, and a body that lasts a lifetime, you know, this is your chance to lock in with me. Let's lock in together and really make these last 3 months of the year count. That's how you get a step ahead. So by January, boom, people who were waiting till New Year's, you're already in motion, you're already doing the thing. And then before you want to know it, by summertime, boom, summer body wear. I've been prepared, okay? Beautiful body year round. We don't wait for later. We start now. And now, even, yeah, whenever you find this video, now is the moment to start. Whether it's in the middle of the year, blah, 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 or end of the year. Now, all we have is now. So you can decide now if you want to embark on this journey. And that's what I told myself too. Like, the time will go. The time will always go. So I might as well use this time to design the life and body I really want. And that's it.